Cellar Pub.
Yeah,
Appreciate you sitting down with me.
you bet.
So, curious, how long you been in the Valley?
I came to the Valley in the summer of '96 in college. I came out here for a summer. Had a great time. Worked at a local pizza place and went back to school at the University of Denver is where I was going to school.
Okay.
And came back that winter on our winter break because I had so much fun and really enjoyed the Valley and the people. And then went back to school in '97. And then I bartended and worked out on the East Coast a lot during college in my summer times, and bartended out in Nantucket. Was with a good friend of mine, PJ, and he was a ski bum in Lake Tahoe, and I was just getting out of school, and I said, well, I don't really have any plans, so he won a $50,000 scratch ticket, and actually bought a vehicle, a truck. So he had a nice new truck. I didn't have anything at that time. My mom used to call me a turtle because everything I owned was on my back. Mm-hmm. So, needless to say, I got a free trip to Tahoe on our way out. And at that time, my brother lived in Chicago, so we stopped in Chicago. And then we were on our way, and we were saying, "Hey, I used to live in Sun Valley. PJ used to live in Sun Valley for the summer, and he knew a bunch of people. So we came here in October of '99, thinking that we were just going to do a quick 2-day pit stop, but then head our way to Lake Tahoe, be ski bums. And then 4 months later, we were still here, sleeping on our friend's floor, having a ball, and then decided this is, I guess, we're staying.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's a pretty common theme.
Yeah.
With people, right? I showed up and I never left.
It was one of the easiest decisions I've ever made.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't really have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
So that was easy. But I did have aspirations to, kind of get a little bit farther out. But this was the place. This was the easiest. Everyone was awesome. Still have really good dear friends now that live in the area who I slept on their floor with. So some are married, some are not. But yeah, it's just unique.
Okay. So '97, PJ was the
96
was the meal ticket in.
Yeah, PJ was my meal ticket in. PJ's still here. He left for a little bit, but he's back.
Awesome.
Ski coach for the SVSCF.
Cool. And so you've been here since then. When did that was obviously those 4 months. You're like, this is home. I'm going to stay. At what point does the Cellar Pub come into play, and when do you become?
So 99 is when we got here.
Okay.
Cellar Pub opened June of '99.
Okay.
With Brian and Damon were the two owners that started it in the space that we're sitting in right now, which is great.
The classic booth right here.
No, table 5.
This is it.
Right here.
Yeah, this is where you want to be.
So depending on where you went to college, we put your pennants up. Depending on what college you did put up, sometimes
where's the School of Hard Knocks?
Sometimes it gets ripped down.
Yeah. Depending on the day.
I won't say which one gets ripped down the most, but I'm sure you can kind of pick it out. But yeah, so it started June of '99 with those two fellas. I myself was working at a couple of different restaurants at the time. I was working at the Evergreen, which is not around anymore, but Chris and Rebecca Kastner, great chefs over there. A good friend of mine, Dana Black, worked there. So I was doing that. I was also taking pictures. Basically, I was doing triple jobs because that's what you did back then, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was no problem. Nothing else to do and have fun. So in my mind, in my career, what I planned on doing, because I went to school for business at the University of Denver, was to use that degree at some point. So in 2003, I actually kind of hit my wall with the economy here, the expense of everything going up, and just like kind of unlivable, unbearable. I was in my mid-20s, early 20s at that point. It was like, okay, I gotta figure it out. So I actually did leave in April of 2004 and moved to Seattle.
Okay.
And at that time, I went to Seattle with the girl I was dating. Didn't work out. Usually doesn't, but it's fine. I left, and then I worked at a small Irish pub in Pike's Place Market called Kells, which actually my wife now, Paige, went to high school with Patrick McLeese, who owns that business. So
it's all starting to
long story shorter, but we'll make it long. So I worked at Kells, but I started working at in banks and mortgages and sold some mortgages from 2004 up until about 2008 when the mortgage crisis was coming to a crux. Mm-hmm. Saw that happening, saw everything going on. At that point, I said, okay, it's going to hit the fan. How can I take advantage of what I've learned in the city, what I love in the mountain town, and is it my time to kind of get back, right? So I took that as the answer was yes. Mm-hmm. So in December of 2008, I moved back here. I was dating a different girl at that time, and I knew she wouldn't move here, so it was an easy way to kind of break that up. So I moved here in December.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, December of '08. It was like, okay, this is it. Whiskeys had just burned down. Mortgages were going to crap. The economy was just coming to a halt, right? So perfect time to move into a super ritzy place.
Yes, you left because it was unaffordable and challenging, and you moved back in.
And it was more challenging. But I had a big...
Getting more affordable, though.
Potentially, but you never knew that, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, with the newfound knowledge of what I didn't have in my first section here from 99 to 04, what I learned in Seattle and working in banking and finance was like, okay, this is probably the next opportunity. Because I missed the .com, right? Mm-hmm. I was in college at that time, and I missed that opportunity. And then I kind of took somewhat of the 2000 to 2008 bubble in finance, and then the next bubble was obviously 2008. So I moved back here, and again, found a place to live in West Ketchum, which was great. Was still working for J.P. Morgan Chase doing mortgage financing with them, but I needed a day job or a night job because I needed to get back out and meet new people and kind of get back into the area. So I asked my now wife Paige, who's owners here with Kitten and Roger and Paige and Bob Dunn, and I said, "Hey, you guys just bought the business. I'm moving back to town. Whiskey's burned down. Can I get a job?" Because she knows she hooked me up with Miguel. She's like, "No." What do you mean? Like, I got the experience. She's like, we got to hire all these other people that don't have a job anymore. And I was like, oh my God, that's horrible. So I didn't get that job, but whiskey's fun. I worked at Rickshaw with Andreas and Nina, who are also very good friends who I've known since the late 90s. Got a job with them, waiting tables. And as soon as, whiskey's open, I started bartending there. But there was one night that my now wife Paige, we were at casino, and we hooked up that night, and then the rest is history with us. But then after that, I was able to buy Bob Dunn's portion out in late 2010, okay. And since that time, I've been obviously a large part of this business, more than what I was prior to, but a good patron in every way.
Yeah. I mean, from not even being able to get hired to owner.
I know.
Yeah,
it's a dream come true.
Rags to riches.
Yeah, because restaurants are such a blast. Margins are huge.
Big time.
You don't need hundreds of people to come in every single day.
Nope.
It's one of those things.
So what is the when you think of this place, and I shared this before we hit record here, this place I think is a staple in the community, right? So many, like I played for the Suns. Mm-hmm. There are often a lot of practices. We were here for a beer after a skate. Certainly wound up here after a Friday or Saturday night game before the rink moved to Haley. My wife and I had our first child, and the first meal she wanted was I needed Cellar Pub's, pulled pork, Carolina barbecue sandwich. Yeah. So this place obviously holds a really fond place in people's heart. But from owning it for these last years, like what have you seen through the lens of owning it and the community that this bar has and the people that come in here?
Yeah. So one of my goals, as well as with Kitten and Paige, was this needs to be a staple. In 2010, we were open for 11 years. There's other places in town, but it wasn't like Apple's. Apple's is a staple. Mm-hmm. Casinos is a staple. Yeah. Pioneer is a staple, right? And we were very well known. We were in the mix. We're in the Bermuda Triangle, as they like to say. Mm. But it wasn't to that this place is now iconic, right? So when I got here, I mean, obviously there's a ton of sports memorabilia around here. Yeah. One of the things that I wanted to kind of bring into it, because I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, not a lot of skiing out there, right? But one of the
Island Park, Illinois.
Yeah, there you go, right? But one of the great things that my family was able to provide for me was we skied. I started skiing when I was 2.5. Was that we went to the East Coast and we skied at least once a year. And one of my goals since that time was to always get at least one day a year. And so being from the Midwest, coming to a mountain area, being able to buy into a restaurant, being able to buy into a downstairs Cheers-esque Irish pub.
Yeah.
I wanted to make this as iconic as possible, knowing that it's not going to be apples and nothing can be. But so meaning that said, I went to all the ski movies in the early 2010s, and I would just go up to the athletes like, hey man, would love to have your ski up on my wall. So did that, and right now we have, I think, about 22 professional skis on the wall. We have at least 4 or 5 snowboards. Caitlin Farrington's snowboard, who won 2014 Superpipe, is here.
Very cool.
So we've made it that way for that iconic feel, and that's helped out a lot. So your question in the beginning was what? Because I always digress.
Well, I guess you're starting to hit on it. Like,
yeah.
What does this place mean to the community now? Like,
yeah, I think it's that cheers factor. It's and that's what I really wanted to, and so did Kitten and Paige. Was this place is open 364 days a year.
Yeah.
We don't close unless we have to. We close Christmas and Thanksgiving for our staff and our families to kind of get away, even though those are the big season days, but it's important. So we wanted a place that people could come into every day.
Yeah.
And our food has gotten better over the years, and that is really what pulls more people into this now. And then obviously then you've got the late night and all the interactions of you walk in and you truly see other people that you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't spend a lot of time late out anymore, but there was a lot of late nights here.
Possibly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can get into that a little bit later with the challenges. But yeah, the goal was to make this open for everyone, consistent. Any business that I think that is consistent has a chance of making it, right? Especially in a restaurant, especially a seasonal place.
Yeah. Well, in a tourist area where, like a lot of our, the big is when, those
everyone else is here.
When everyone else is here. But if you're not consistent, it's the locals that really.
The locals support us.
Big time.
And we've known that for years.
For sure.
And it's, and that's the glue that keeps this place sticking together, because it's an old building.
Yeah. How old is the building?
I don't know the exact date, but I want to say the late 60s.
Okay.
We've been here as a tenant the longest, since 99, so 26 years.
Okay.
Be 27 next June. So that's pretty sweet.
You're an anchor tenant, as
they would say. We're also on the bottom floor, so we're more than an anchor tenant. We're just the basement tenant, which I guess holds up the rest of the.
It does. You're the foundation.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Well said.
So, what are some of the challenges that you see? I mean, I think we all sort of know it from living here, but it's hard to operate a business that does have the swings, the highs and lows, and pacing, and I'm sure ordering for the food and all the staffing for that's a challenge. But what else kind of is unique that you're seeing right now, 2025?
The top two main ones are young adults, and the second one would be housing. Mm-hmm. So the first one, young adults. Early 2000s, 2010s, when you were coming here and we were all younger, casino, whiskeys, Cellar. I mean, late night was from 9 to 2 a.m. solid. And that's how you met people, and that's how you went out that's how you did it.
Yeah.
It was great. And then like this place, I've seen people meet, I've seen people get divorced, fights, I've seen ups and downs and all of it, right? Now, and it's I sound like an old guy, but it's just different, and there's not as many younger kids because I think it's too expensive to live here on their own. Whereas before, like I said, I came with PJ and we slept on our friend's floor and we were fine with that for like 4 months. Yeah. I don't know if that's the same if young children are okay with sleeping on a floor, as we were, but that's one thing. Yeah. So part of that is there's not much of a late night crew anymore, but it's also not just us. It's kind of just changed throughout town. So late night's just kind of quiet, unless it's seasonal and we're around, the holidays in the summer as well as Christmas time.
Yeah.
And
now there is a bit of a pullback nationally on drinking.
True.
Do you think, are you seeing that a little bit show up?
Absolutely, yeah. So you've got all the other things that the kids can do that's either illegal or not illegal,
depending on where you live.
Yeah, and then a non-alcoholic. We sell a bunch more than I would ever thought we would have with those types of drinks. So that's that. I think that obviously has part of it.
Yeah.
Alcohol's not the best thing in the world, but you make bad decisions, but you learn from them.
Yeah.
And if you don't make any bad decisions, how do you grow?
And to a point, it's fun.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, to anything, it's fun. So, I hope people can, get to that point of making bad decisions and not always just being so perfect.
Yeah, that's no fun.
That's no fun at all.
No, not at all. So I took you off that train. So definitely there's an affordability issue.
Yeah. So number one is there's not a lot of young people in town, or at least it doesn't seem like it. And to go back to that is when there are events in town. I used to hold Galande quaffing events, which is a beer drinking event in town that we held at Apple's, and it would be packed with 500 young people, and you're like, where do these kids come from?
Yeah.
So I think it kind of goes back to the non-alcoholic, which is, again, I think that's great, and then maybe it's too expensive, maybe they're just not into it, and then you can kick the whole COVID factor into of they'd rather be on a screen having that relationship instead of having it face-to-face.
Yeah.
And maybe that's kind of just an awkward moment. But again, I don't have any children of that age or anything like that, so it's tough to say.
Yeah.
Going into housing is the second side of it, right? And that's been a challenge for most. And that housing challenge it relates to workforce, right? Housing is its own thing. We all know that. I don't need to get into that. But we're very, very blessed about our workforce that we have here at the pub.
You've got a very consistent, crew.
100%.
Yeah.
Our crew has been here on Alfonso, our chef, has been here before we purchased in 2008.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
When I walk in here, it's like
it's the same crew.
Yeah.
So we have our basic core bartenders and server staff, as well as obviously Paige, Kitten, and myself. But then we are very lucky because we have a really good influx of college kids that grew up here, that are coming back for the summer and the winter, that want to work and then get in and get out. So we don't hire a lot of new people that come to town because essentially it doesn't fit. It fits really well with people or kids that know the systems, know Slack, and can kind of come in, have a free place to live at their parents' place. So that helps. Yeah. And then they make a ton of money and then they leave. Then they come back, which is the fact they want to come back is awesome.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
As a parent, I've got the 14-year-old, 12-year-old, I think that's kind of all of our dreams, right? This is our, we built a business here, you built a business here, no kids, but our hope is that, kids go do their thing and, want to come home.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it, right? You hope they get out and they experience the real world.
Yep.
Right? And then they can come back and actually take that experience. Kind of like what I did, right? Not that I had never lived in the real world because I grew up in St. Louis and went to school in Colorado, lived in Connecticut, Nantucket, all those things. But when I think kids grow up here, it's so fantastic and they're so blessed that, they are in a bubble. So it's nice for them to get back out and say, okay, I've learned this.
Yeah. How
can I take that back to here?
Yeah.
Does it fit sometimes? Who knows?
Yeah. On the housing front and that challenge from a business owner's perspective, what do you think solutions to that ought to be?
Well, if I think affordable housing is something that it would be valuable in this area, like anything else, it's been a major challenge due to many different factors. One of it is, I think, NIMBYs, not in my backyard.
Yeah. Land cost is high.
And then, the acquisition to get in, to actually build it, to make it pencil is huge. So potentially, are there federal grants that can come in and help out? Are there state grants? Are there city grants? But there's so much other need out there. Fighting for those dollars is probably pretty tough.
Yeah.
And that's kind of on my finance mind. But
Yeah.
I think that would be key. But also, I mean, it's kind of retirement community now. It's not much of a ski town, to be honest.
Yeah. But I think Sun Valley's always been a.
It has, which I've loved.
Yeah.
Like I've totally loved. I love this
Yeah.
has been a sleeper agent.
Yeah.
My whole adult life.
Even when we came here when we were young, and we definitely found a young crowd, but it was always an older.
For sure. And
Yeah.
we were the young. It was great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now we're middle
We're
age.
getting close to being
Those
old
people. But it's all relative, right? I mean, so back in the 70s and 80s, you could buy a home for say how much, and then
Yeah.
now it's this much. So it's not like it's been like this and that. It's kind of been like that.
It has been.
So
I mean, not to get into
Yeah.
you're in the lending world, I'm
Yeah.
in the real estate world.
Right.
And I think everything is relative because yes, things are expensive here, but you look in you look at 1979, 1980, 81, you had 17, 18, 19% interest rates.
Right.
Yeah, homes were cheaper, but you were making less.
Right.
And that was a whole
It was a whole fiasco.
fiasco
Yeah.
and a set of
I
challenges.
hear about it all the time.
Yeah, yeah. I bought a house.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just think everything is relative, and those are certainly challenges that we, as a community, need to address.
Yeah, I mean, what's the fix? I don't know what the fix is, but what's frustrated me, and this is probably not just, we're not the first mountain town that's had this issue,
No,
right?
I think they all deal with it.
They've all dealt with it, and my issue, my concern with that is that they've all kicked the can down the road.
Yeah.
Every single town, because no one said, "Oh, look at this place. They figured it out."
Yeah.
Because we've all, we saw Jackson 7-8 years ago. Oh my God, we can't be like that. And now we're like getting to be like that.
Yeah.
And it's like we had the chance. Oh, Aspen. Oh, but they've got whatever that other town that's farther enough away. Well, we can't do that to our working class. I mean, the highway gets, I don't know how many cars.
It's
come
a
up and
lot.
down that road. I mean, I'm on Sved, and Griffith talks about it. Harry does, and I forget the numbers, but it is.
It's a significant amount of
Massive.
when you look at the pull of Ketchum.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it to me it's like a heartbeat, right? It pulls it in.
Mm-hmm.
It's 7 a.m. and
Lets it out,
and it lets it out at 5 p.m. But the amount of activity and business and it's really interesting. And further south, right? It's not just Haley Bellevue coming up. It's
you're talking Cary.
It's Cary. It's Fairfield. It's Shoshone.
Absolutely.
It's Jerome. It's you drive down at 6 a.m. to go south.
Twin.
It's a steady stream of.
It's literally because we have a place down in Shoshone, right? So if I want to leave and not hit the traffic that we're dealing with right now, which I think it is what it is, and it's going to be fantastic when it's done and we're getting there.
As long as they do 4 lanes.
100%. 4 lanes, everyone. 4 lanes. It's that easy.
It's not
It's
hard.
not even a question.
No.
When 90% of the people agree to 4 lanes, but 4 people say no, and you go with the 90, I think that's a problem.
Not that this matters.
No.
I think this is really funny because there was 3,000 or 4,000 votes on that poll.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we get 3,000 or 4,000 people that vote for the mayor.
They don't.
Or
It's
maybe the
decided by
presidential
one vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had 4,000 and a 90%.
But
and
they were
city
saying
council
that,
goes,
well, all
maybe
the-
we don't do that.
And all the people that voted don't live in Ketchum.
It's a state
But you know
highway.
what? They come into Ketchum because from what we were just talking about.
It's not-
So I think they have value.
Ketchum Highway 75.
Yeah,
it's
Idaho.
Yeah, it's
State-
state
yeah,
highway
yeah.
75.
So that's pretty wild. But yeah, so if we go back to the influx wherever it comes from Cary, Fairfield, south, when I leave if I leave at 5:40 in the morning on Monday, I can get here right at it takes me an hour and 10, no problem, which it normally does without traffic. A little bit later, then it gets worse and worse and worse. But my point is, if I leave at 7 just because I would leave at 7, and I look left and look right, I mean, it truly is a line of lights, like a vein that comes in here.
It's a lot.
And I've always kind of be kind of neat but creepy, but to have like a huge aerial kind of drone view of what it looks like, of a long time
It's a lot. Yeah.
view of what it would look like. And this is not LA.
No.
This is Ketchum, Idaho.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting.
It is. It really is. So, I mean, those are challenges. Those are all things I think us as business owners have to grapple with and talk about and figure out, and hopefully, maybe not kick down the road as you said, but start to address here. As you look for, the next, couple of years, what are you looking forward to, and kind of what's the next few years of Cellar Pub look like? And
I'm looking forward to, the infrastructure that we just kind of talked about. I'm looking forward for that to be kind of revamped, because it never has, right? And what we're getting is what we need to get to make everything better. And a lot of people complain about all the things that they complain about, but in reality, they're the ones not even doing the work.
Yeah, well, and it's tough. I mean, I've been here 16 years. You've been here longer than that. It's changed in 16 years.
100%.
It's you've been here 26 years. But you do hear the people that were here in the 70s and 80s, and like it's not the same anymore. Well, I don't know anything.
Nothing.
That's the same anymore.
You can't compare that to now.
Yeah.
20 years, yes. I mean, we were doing just fine, like we said. Love to have the sleeper agent of Ketchum, Sun Valley, this whole area, compared to the other big resorts that we want to be a part of, which I'm always like, let's not be number one. Yeah. Stop voting us number one. Like, it's great, but
we don't podium adjacent.
Yeah, we're like top 10,
number
top
4.
10, yeah. So yeah, it's just it's great that we are. It's great that we were, and weirdly enough, the momentum between 17, 18, 19, we were getting to that point, and then COVID hit, and those you can really say 2-3 years that. From 2020 to 23 was like the biggest boom, and it's kind of tapered off.
It really has.
Those 3 years was a compressed 40-year growth or 30-year growth.
It was a lot,
and that was intense. That's what's just like whoa.
Yeah.
So
it seems like this valley's gone through cycles, right? It's like you had like the run up to the 07, and that had a build, and it fell, and it took a decade. It was 2012, 2010 to 12 was sort of we bumped along the bottom.
Yeah, and very, very tough.
And then it slowly came out, 19, 20, COVID hits, it really ramps back up. But it does feel as though we have, slack is back.
Yeah.
It's a proper, the constant congestion of visitors is not year round.
Exactly. Which is great, because that's that goes back to the roots of why we all like it here. We don't live in a big city for a reason.
No,
I don't need all the hustle and bustle of those things. All I need is outdoors, my wife, my dogs, and this awesome business. Right?
Well, and that's kind of like the idea behind these videos and talking to you guys is that you read the comments, and if you didn't know any better, you would think we live in a really horrible place. And I'm like, gosh, I still think this is a fantastic community.
Yeah. It truly is.
I really believe that, and I just don't know that story is told as often as it should be. Because
it hasn't. We haven't felt it like that in a while, and that's probably the reason. And maybe there's some suppressed honesty that happens, that people just rather not say anything and just gotta move on. Yeah. I mean, either
and frustration's fine, right? Like, you're gonna live places, you're gonna be unhappy with certain things, But I think just overall the people of this valley are still just fantastic people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think gets sort of lost in the online comments of the Mountain Express or other venues where it's just pile on, and it's well, let's just step outside that corridor and talk to each other, because this is still a great place to be.
Yeah, and you got it. You need to realize, or most people need to realize, and I think they do, is that, I mean, this area, and I'm talking about the whole, mostly Blaine County, but mostly Wood River Valley, is all entrepreneurs. I mean, how many major chains are here? Less than 5, less than 10.
Yeah.
Every business here is a small business owner, right? And I think that's really unique. So that's why I think we're all so affected by so many things. And obviously in this business, in the restaurants, we do well on volume, because our margins are small, right? And we know peak summer times and slack times. We enjoy the slack. We don't love the summer, but that's when we make the hay in order to get through the fall, right?
Right.
And then there's different industries that do it either vice versa or what it is, and that's kind of the fun of living in a weird little town in Idaho. And I mean, think of all the smaller places. Think of Stanley.
Yeah.
I mean that's a challenge up there.
That's a different beast.
It's a way different beast, and it's stunningly gorgeous. So you've got that, but
we were just up there at the hot springs on Sunday, and went to the bakery and had breakfast
Tim and
for lunch.
Rebecca, man. I mean, like they've had that since early 2000s, and they love it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could do that.
Well, if we have slack, they actually close.
Yeah, which is you can't be open. You make more money during slack by not paying anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a different thing. So, I think you're right. I think the things that are changing, for better or worse. I mean, we might not like some of the big buildings, but infrastructure wise, I couldn't agree more. I think those are great things.
Well, in big buildings, that's just it's a matter of time. Nothing was the same since the 70s.
No.
We do have some population growth, and the growth itself is not exactly organic in itself. That it's got a good base. It's the kind of the have and have-nots. That's kind of kicking it out. And that's unfortunate. But that is the basis on any place that's very unique and very special, very gorgeous. Look at Nantucket, look at Aspen.
Yeah.
It's just if you could find a place that's a complete utopia.
Yeah.
Tell me.
It feels like it's just
whispered in my ear, so no one else
exasperated over the years, right? And again, we moved here 16 years ago. It was still a community of high wealth and
always has been. And it since the 35s.
Yeah.
Since almost we're 90 years away.
Yeah.
Or it's been 90 years.
Yeah.
And that's always been kind of like the pull is there's a reason why Harriman came out here. There's a reason why the train came all the way up from Hollywood, and there's a reason why Sun Valley was and the movies are out.
It wasn't really
all that history is so cool, and the mining and all of it, and then that. I mean, that's I love that part of it, and I want this place, and I think we've designed it. Well, not designed it, but I think we're at that point where we're kind of hitting that. 26 years, we're not going anywhere. God forbid. And we don't do any marketing. We don't spend $1 on marketing, which is great. The Big Chair is our biggest marketer. We own that.
I see the hoodies and the T-shirts out in town.
No, it's great.
Yeah, what's the phrase? Is it's my life is...
It's my life is your vacation.
There you go.
Or it used to be, we had a couple. My life is your vacation. Enjoy life, go down more often.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have another one is watch your step, because we have lots of steps that come down here, right? We have first, and then a couple, and then one more, and then two more downstairs. And people say, we're already downstairs. I'm like, well, there's a shuffleboard down there and all that. So they always trip on one of them.
You haven't gone all the way.
You haven't gone all the way.
Yeah.
But so the Big Chair is a big part of it. And that was a really fun opportunity to get that. So in 2010 or 11, there used to be Tenary Hink was the gallery that was in the corner where Huck and Paddle is.
Okay.
He owned that. He designed and built that Big Chair, and he was moving to, I think, Arizona.
Okay.
He's like, I got to get out of here. I'm not, whatever. He just left. He said, you guys want the Big Chair? We're like, of course, we want the Big Chair. How much? We're like, whoa, that's a lot, man.
It's a big chair.
Hold on a second. It is a bit. It's a lot of wood, right? So there's material. So what I was like, oh my God, save Ferris. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Save the Big Chair.
Save the chair.
So I got a big jar.
Uh-huh.
Well, first I went to the city. I said, hey, city, can you help us with this? Well, yeah, you got to get a petition. You got to do this. You got to do that. I was like, okay, you said way too many things. I'm just going to do this.
We're going to be entrepreneurial.
I'm going to do this privately. So I got a big, whatever, pickle bucket and had people, they donated, and we got enough money to raise enough to purchase it.
There we go.
And on the back of the chair, there's a plaque to our largest donors that we gave a little bit of a nod to.
Very nice.
Which is nice. But so when I talk to people throughout either my day job at the bank, but either here or wherever, they're like, well, so where's the Cellar Pub? I'm like, well, have you been to Sun Valley? Yeah, of course I've been there. Have you been, where the Big Chair is? Of course I've been to the Big Chair. I go, well, I own that chair with my other business partners. and it's just below that. You're like, oh my god!
Yeah.
So that I think is almost that's more iconic than the restaurant.
Everybody's got to get their picture of the big chair.
Yeah. There was one funny story. Gosh, this was probably like 2016 or something, and I forget who was working for the city, but they called me and they said, "Hey, Rick, the big chair's in Town Square right now." I was like, "What do you mean?" So I don't know when, because I left the bar at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m, the big chair walked itself across the street and found it at Town Square.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty fun.
That is
So we
interesting.
had to pick that up.
Yeah. Didn't know that thing could do that.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
It didn't walk on its own.
That's why.
And
That's why I wanted to sell it for so much. It's the magic.
Yeah.
It's the magic chair.
It teleports you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I appreciate everything you've talked about.
Yeah.
Anything that the people should know about?
We're open 364 days a year.
Awesome.
4 p.m. every single day.
Awesome.
Dinner till 9-ish, depending, and bar till maybe 2 a.m. But
Okay.
we appreciate everything. We love this town, and between myself, Kitten, and my wife Paige, we say thanks so much for the support over the years.
Yeah. What's the go-to meal?
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
And if you're not sure what to do, you get the surf and turf, which is a half bangers and mash, half fish and chips.
Okay. I can't argue that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Awesome. Thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much.
Yeah, you bet.